Hey, Kerry Knoll here, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Today is Email Marketing Thursday, and today I'm going to be covering another cool tip, trick, strategy, or hack when it comes to ActiveCampaign to learn how to increase your open rate using ActiveCampaign. So you'll get better deliverability if you use this, and you'll likely see an uptick in actions by your contacts as well. So let's get started, shall we? So I'm going to share over my screen with ActiveCampaign, walk you through what I'm doing and how it works. Okay, so on my screen, you should see ActiveCampaign open. You should see this automation called Initial Test Sequence Number 1. It's nothing too fancy. It has no trigger. It has a simple email template that I'm using, and it has a simple wait here to show who went through this automation. That's why it's set for 99 years. And then it has one person in the queue. That one person in the queue is me. And so what I did is I just added myself manually to this automation. Now, of course, you might want to start with a proper trigger, like when someone subscribes to your email list or a tag is added to them or something along those lines in order to execute this first email sequence. But again, this was just for an example purposes only, and I just wanted to show you what happened. So recently I put myself in here just a few minutes ago. This email was sent to me. I'm sitting in this queue. Now I'm going to head over to my email account for this, and you can see I got that first test email number 1, and I haven't opened it yet. I haven't done anything with it, right? So if I go back over here to ActiveCampaign, I have this second automation right here called follow-up test sequence number 2, opened email action. So this, it says contact reads email, test email number 1. It has not entered automation of this name, follow-up test sequence number 2, opened email action. They are sent a second email that's labeled follow-up test email number 2, opened email, and I'll be sitting here. So as soon as I go over to my email inbox and I click on this first email that I sent myself, test email number 1, and I open it, I should theoretically be able to reload this, and we should see me sitting here in the wait for 99 years. Let's see if that happened. And I'm not in there yet, so I'm not sure if it's fully triggered it. Let me load it again. Oops, you know what I need to do? I need to turn it on. That was mistake number 1. So let me see if that changes anything if we open it again. Let's come back here. Let's reload it, see if it triggered the action. It has not. So what we're going to do is we're going to send me through this automation one more time. So I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to remove me from it. So I'm going to come down to here, and I'm going to find not that. I'm going to find this initial test sequence. I'm just going to send this email to myself again in order to make this thing work. So let me find that. Let me just take myself out of there. So I'm going to end that. And then I'm going to put myself back through it. So if I reload this, you should see I'm not there any longer. I'm not. Okay. And I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to come back down to the bottom automation here. I'm going to click add, search for that automation. I'm going to add myself to it, hit OK. I should go through it again and get a second email. Crossing my fingers, I'm doing all this 100% correctly, and I'm pretty sure I am. So there I am again in this automation. If I come back to my email, I should receive a second email here shortly. Hopefully it'll show up sooner than later. That's why I sent myself the email first, to make sure it came in a reasonable amount of time. So we'll see here. Please bear with me while this happens. And of course, it hasn't come in yet. Hopefully it's not in spam. Let's see. Let's just double check. Nope, it's not in spam. It's not in the inbox. I know we're going to show up in promotions. And this is where I need some Jeopardy music for everybody that's here today. So I will hopefully get this working here shortly. Let's make sure we get this email. As soon as it pops up, it'll say new. I'll turn bold again. It'll probably have a 2 behind it since it's the same email being sent to me twice. Make sure this other action is also on. It is. So I just had not activated this particular sequence. That's why I didn't enter it when I opened the email. And now we're having to, there it is. So there it says new to test email 1. Now, when I open this email and I look at it and I load it, I am crossing my fingers and praying that this works for us. And it has not worked yet. And I hope it's not because it's caching the same information based on the fact I already opened the original email, which it might. All right. Love it. Love when it doesn't work the way it's intended to work. That's the email, test 1 from this sequence, test email 1. And we're not entered into this automation yet. Well, while we're trying to figure that out, let me move over to automation number 3. So automation number 3 says, follow-up test email sequence number 1, clicked link action. So tag link, clicked the link is added and has not entered will receive this email. So if I come back to test email here and I click this link, and it's just going to take me to Google because I just put a Google link in there. Now, if I come back here and reload it, I ought to be waiting in the 99 years here. And I am. So therefore, this one worked 100% the way it's supposed to. Now, if we go back to my inbox, I should shortly see this email. It says follow-up test email number 1, clicked link in the subject. So we should be able to come back in here, reload this, and eventually here within a few minutes or a few seconds, we should see another email with a new subject line. Now, the reason we're doing this is a couple reasons. Number one, the more emails you can send somebody once they've opened an email, like if once they've opened an email, you know they've opened an email or clicked a link in an email, if you send them another email right away, you're likely going to get them to open that email too because they're going to be in their email inbox. They're going to see it come in and they're going to open it because they just opened a previous email. So this is a great signal to the ISPs, the internet service providers such as Gmail, Yahoo, MSN, etc., that you're wanting the email from that person or from whoever it is that's sending you that email. So that's a key indicator to helping your deliverability rates with your email marketing endeavors. So therefore, this is a great strategy. Here it is. It finally showed up. Kerry Knoll, test or follow-up test email number 1, clicked link. So now if I open that up, it's going to say, thanks for clicking a link in a previous email I just sent you. And see, you can build out this type of stuff any way you want. Okay, as we can see here, I actually reloaded follow-up test sequence number 2, opened email action, and I'm now in the queue, meaning that that did read the fact that I opened the email. And now I'm sitting in this queue. I've got this new email hopefully showing up in my inbox here. If I click back and reload it, there it is. Follow-up test email number 2, opened email. So if I click on that, it's just going to say, thanks for opening the previous email I just sent you. So one of the cool things you can do with this, besides the fact that it helps your deliverability within your ISPs that you're mailing to, such as, like I said, Gmail and Yahoo and MSN or Hotmail or whatever the case may be, you can also do some what we call retargeting, right? And so these triggers help you then send appropriate emails based on actions that people take, behavioral actions people take within the emails themselves, which is very powerful email marketing strategy or tactic. So now, if I wanted to, I could then go back to, let me see where I wanted to go to. Let's go back to this sequence here. And we could, I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So I came into this email. Let me open it up. I'm going to click on edit. And then you see the link in there in the preview, but this is the link that they had to click on for me to get that one sequence, right? Well, how did that happen, right? Well, this is how it happened. You can do it a couple different ways, but this is the way I prefer to do it. So after I had added my link in here, I said, when a contact clicks this link, what are we going to do? We're going to add a tag. You could remove a tag, subscribe to list, unsubscribe from list, add to an automation, or end an automation. So I could have simply said add to automation and selected my new automation. But I decided to add a tag, click the link. And then that click the link is what was added here for this automation to start. Tag was added, click the link, and that's how this started. Now, I could have changed it, like I said, to, let's say, add to automation. And then I could have selected the automation. And the problem is I've got so many automations. Sometimes it gets a little bit hard for me to locate. Usually they're at the end, the newest ones. But I could have said, let's do clicked link action, this one. So add to automation with this one instead. Clicked OK. Saved and exited. So now it would be based on the fact that they clicked, they'd be added to that automation. But there'd be one more step I'd have to do, and that would be go to that automation. And I could add a new trigger or replace this trigger. Let's just say I added a new trigger. And that new trigger might be actually, I don't need to add a trigger because I'm using it where it's adding them automatically to this particular automation when they click that link. So therefore, you don't actually have to have a trigger. In fact, you could eliminate this trigger altogether. It would still work without any trigger whatsoever because we're doing an automatic add to the automation when they click that link. I like tags. I'm a big tagger. And I think tags are very powerful, and it's a good way to do it. But if you do it this way, you don't need to do anything in that second automation. And then, of course, like I said, you could remove a tag, you could subscribe or unsubscribe from list, etc., or end an automation too. So you could say add to this automation, the new automation, and then also we can say add an action, and we can say end automation, and we could select this automation to end, right? So we could scroll to the bottom and say we want to end the initial test sequence automation. So you can end this automation that they're currently in and then add them to the next automation. But then when you do this, if they click, the negative is, and I'm just going to remove this. I'm going to go back to the way we had it with the tag, enter the tag, clicked the link is the tag. Okay, click that, save it. Let's save and exit. So right here, if I did the end automation, I would no longer be sitting in the queue. And I love seeing who's come through each automation in the queue at the end. And I always know this is how I signify the end of my automations. This way I can quickly just right click on that, open a new tab if there was like hundreds in here, and it would shoot all of those people in here, show me all the different people, all the different contacts that are in that automation at a glance really quickly. That's why I like to do that. So there you go. There you have it. There's how you get better open rates for your deliverability and how you can then personalize some of the follow-up emails based on the behaviors of those people take. And it's very powerful when it comes to your email marketing campaigns. I hope you found that of interest, and hopefully that's helped you some, and hopefully you can put it to good use. I thank you so much again for being here today. I'm going to wrap this up now, and I will see you back here again, hopefully tomorrow, for Facebook Ad Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, until then, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow.